but as they come down past the two, it's River Falls the leader. Here comes Rodrigo de Triano in the spotted cap on the outside. Still 2 lengths to make up on River Falls, but Rodrigo Triano is eating up ground, and they come down to the final furlong. And here Rodrigo Triano is given the office, and he goes on by a length by 2, and Rodrigo Triano is coming clear by 3 to 4, and Rodrigo de Triano wins it at the post. Rodrigo de Triano, the winner from River Falls second.
There you are, Graham.
Tactically, Rodrigo Triano from stall 1 hasn't held that early position, and the power horses, the speed horses, River Falls and Power Lake, take them along, and Rodrigo Triano is last. So he's going to have to be a very good horse to win from that position, and he's going to have to pull wide, and he's going to have to come round. But it's Bruce Raymond are setting the pace on River Falls. Drawn 4, got the rail. Then Power Lake, yellow cap, John Reed on the left. Balajidar, the blue colours in behind. Lion Cavern is swinging along well. Eden's Close still has Rodrigo de Triano behind him, and they come halfway in the Newgate Stud Middle Park Stakes. And as they pass the halfway pole, Rodrigo de Triano is still sharing last place, the favourite. River Falls the rails, Power Lake, the Balajidar. Now Rodrigo de Triano, stall 1, has had to pull wide to finish. Then Lion Cavern can't be ruled out. They've got a quarter of a mile to go, and it's still the rail, River Falls. But look at this serious racehorse, Rodrigo de Triano, really quickening the tempo. Steve Cawthon takes Lion Cavern wide. He's chasing, and he's got pace, and he's finishing well. But Rodrigo de Triano has got first one on them now, and as they go up toward the line, Rodrigo de Triano from Lions Cavern, who's closing as the post comes, but Rodrigo de Triano keeps his unbeaten record. Lions Cavern is second, and then River Falls third, followed by Power Lake. Balajidar and Eden's Close did well to stay so close to them for such a long way. And so the result then of this, the Newgate Stud Middle Park Stakes, a win, and an impressive win for me, better than the book suggests, outpaced early on, finished well, came home well, unbeaten, son of El Gran Senor, number 6, Rodrigo de Triano, in the colours of Robert Sangster, bred at the Swettenham Stud, so homebred, trained at Marlborough by Peter Chapel-Hyam, ridden by Willie Carson, his 130th winner of the season. The even money favourite. Second was number 3, Lions Cavern, who at this stage in the white sleeves jacket worn by Steve Cawthon had been pulled wide. Third horse home was the pacey River Falls, led for a long way, but I think we've seen a very good racehorse indeed. Obviously he is, in that he's unbeaten 5 out of 5, but to come from where he did against fast horses over a trip that possibly wasn't his best, this is a good performance. Don't take anything away from the second, which was Lions Cavern, but there Willie Carson brings his son of El Gran Senor home, the even money favourite, and a very, very good performance.
Certainly was a fine performance, Graham, but there were 2 good horses in this race. Lions Cavern has run a tremendous race when you consider that he had to be pulled very rapidly round the whole field. But let's have a look at the whole race again, and the most vital part, because the favourite was very slow to find his stride.
I think this probably they decided just to settle him in at the back, but they just took him off his feet early on. But now you just watch, he's very quickly into his stride, and then just gets stopped by Balajidar, Willie Carson. They're having a real tug on him because the horse just started to take a good hold. Willie then got him settled, and now as the race begins to take part, now you'll see that River Falls and Power Lake, just the 2 stable companions, going along, going a good gallop in front. Steve Cawthon sitting in behind on Lion Cavern. And really at this stage I thought that Steve might have just kicked on a little bit. He's probably just waiting for Rodrigo de Triano just to make his move, because unfortunately for Steve, he then gets stuck for a little bit of toe. He's waited for the opening to appear, waited as long as he could, and then decided that he's going to have to come round horses, and the horses really quickened up well. But Rodrigo de Triano's already gone for home, and well as the French horse runs on, he never actually makes any more ground on this horse of Peter Chapel-Hyam's. He's come out a very convincing winner. I should think he'd be good enough to win over 5 or 7, but certainly much too good for these, even over a 6.
Yes, I don't quite agree that he didn't make any ground on him, John. I would have
All in
thought...
nearest to us, the striped cap of Muhtaram. Next to him in the white cap is Badia, but that's it. Away they go in the 2,000 guineas. A little slowly away, Arctic Tracker, but the first to show in the lead is River Falls. River Falls up towards the wide outside with the red cap, followed by Pursuit of Love. Running fast in second, then Swing Low. Dillon is on the premises, so too Thorius after these, in the end of the first furlong and a half, Wild Rufo. Then reading back to Lucky Lindy, followed by Cardoon for France. and Steinberg for France, and Tertian for France. The back markers, Badia with the favourite Al Nasser Al Washik, and right at the rear of the field, Rodrigo to Triano and Mutaram. But they're coming down now towards the end of the third furlong up on the outside, River Falls, nearest to the rails with a white cap. Badia, Thurios is right there with the leaders, so too in the green and yellow jacket, Lucky Lindy. On the extreme outside is Swing Low. They're inside the final 5 furlongs, the final 4 furlongs now, halfway then in the Guineas, over to the stands of Graham.
And Thurios has been taking a keen hold. That's up there in the maroon cap. Pursuit of Love's bang with a chance. Nasher Al Washik, the favourite in the yellow colours. Steve Cawthon asking him to go to work now. Quite a bit to do. Only 2 or 3 horses behind as they come past the 3. Rush down to the 2. And Thurios from the front. Pursuit of Love, the apricot colours. On the outside, Swing Low with a run. Then comes Tertian Silver Wisp. Rodrigo to Triano. And Lester Pickett are going well. Nasher Al Washik starts to pick up ground. Running the rail, Lucky Lindy, but it's Pursuit of Love in the lead. But here on the outside comes Lester Pickett in the white cap on Rodrigo to Triano. And as they come inside the final furlong, it's Rodrigo to Triano. More significantly, Lester Pickett's going to take his 30th Classic. Rodrigo to Triano's going to take it at the line. Rodrigo to Triano the winner. Lucky Lindy is second. Then Pursuit of Love beats Silver Wisp and Mutaram. And behind these, Thurios in the field trail back to Dillon, who was last but won last of all was Arctic Tracker. This is the final sponsorship of the General Accident 2000 Guineas under that flag. But by gum, they've gone out with a bang because Master Lester Pickett has won this. The 6-to-1 shot.
Dick Triano jumps out last, but he did likewise at Newmarket, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. In the early stages, Irish Memory, the leader, being followed by Portico and Lucky Lindy, with a brief truce just behind these towards the outside. Zood in the blinkers on the inner, and Rodrigo de Triano is last of the 6 as they race across, having covered over a furlong, and Irish Memory makes it on the rail. Lucky Lindy in the green colours in second, Portico between horses. Zood tracks them in 4th. They're followed by a brief truce, and Rodrigo de Triano, the odds-on favourite, is the back marker of the 6 as they run around towards the 6 marker. And Irish Memory and Lucky Lindy, little to choose between the pair. Zood tucked in on the rails just ahead of Portico. Brief truce with the noseband is 5th, and Rodrigo de Triano is 2 lengths behind him in last position as they race on now towards halfway. And Lucky Lindy, the fractional leader from Irish Memory, with Portico in the red and white colours a length back in 3rd. Zood is 4. They're followed by a brief truce, and Rodrigo de Triano remains in rear as they meet the chains now. Just 3 furlongs to race, and it's Lucky Lindy the leader from Irish Memory, then Portico just in behind them. Brief truce beginning his run. Zood is on the inside, and Rodrigo de Triano still at the back. They're racing towards the 2 furlong pole now, and it's Lucky Lindy the leader from Zood, and then comes Portico and brief truce. Rodrigo de Triano looking for room. Irish Memory's in behind them. They race towards the final furlong. Lucky Lindy and Zood. Rodrigo de Triano charging through on the inside now, get the gap as they come to the furlong pole, and it's Rodrigo de Triano who quickens to the lead on the far side from Zood. Brief truce, Lucky Lindy inside the final furlong. Rodrigo de Triano 2 in front. Zood is coming after him, but racing up the line, Rodrigo de Triano. It's Leicester's 16th Irish Classic, his first since Shergar back in 1981 in the Derby. Zood is second, brief truce is 3rd, and 4th is Lucky Lindy, and they're followed in by Irish Memory, and Portico is last of the 6. It wasn't looking good for a while there. He had trouble finding a gap, but he moved across. The gap came, and Rodrigo de Triano quickened through in good style to win the big one and become the 4th horse to complete the English-Irish Guineas double, joining Right Tack, Don't Forget Me and Tyrrell as a dual Guineas winner.
Back over today's trip of a mile and a quarter, 85 yards, but they break away for the Judgmont International, and through the first furlong, Ruby Tiger, Massad racing fast. Zoman up with the pace. Al Nasser Al Washik runs the rail. Terrimon's in there. Seattle Rhyme is tucked off the pace, and so too is Rodrigo de Triano, and Koyonga normally held up in the last 3. Quite closely grouped, the pace strong as they go through the first furlong so, and it's Al Nasser Al Washik that gains the day. In the yellow jacket, the rail. Terrimon the grey on the outside, Zoman, followed through by Bob Zayo. Dr. Devious position 5. Ruby Tiger out wide in 6, all at sea the rail. 7, Massad in 8. A break of a length and a half then to the others, headed by Gussie Marlowe. Koyonga's on the outside, Seattle Rhyme, and Leicester's put Rodrigo to sleep in the back of the field. They pass the 7 pole, and it's Al Nasser Al Washik by a length now. 2 in second place, Terriman, Bobsay the rail, Zerman out wide, a line of 3 for second place, then the Devious, Dr. Devious is in 5, they've passed the 6 furlong marker, and then Ruby Tiger out wide, and All at Sea and Masset, and then Kuyonga and Seattle Rhyme and Gussie Marlowe, and Leicester on Rodrigo is the trailer as they come down past the 5 pole, and it's Al Nasser Al Washik, Steve Corfin out in front, Zerman just being niggled along, Bobsay rails well, Dr. Devious on the outside of Terriman. Kuyonga's having to pull wide for room and wide for a run, and they're just leaving her a little bit flat-footed as Al Nasser Al Washik on the bridle, clear by 2. Here comes All at Sea with a wet sail. Dr. Devious on the outside, off the pace, and Seattle Rhyme is getting cheekily nearer. They leave the 3 behind them. Al Nasser Al Washik, All at Sea, Dr. Devious, Seattle Rhyme back on song. Here comes Rodrigo Triano, the blue sleeve jacket with a run. They're past the 2, Al Nasser Al Washik, All at Sea, Rodrigo Triano on the outside of Dr. Devious, then Seattle Rhyme followed by Masset and Zerman. They race down to the final furlong, and it's Rodrigo Triano and Lester Biggett. Panetteri All at Sea, the pink cap, but it's Rodrigo Triano who lengthens and goes on. No stamina down clear, he's going to see the trip out all right. Rodrigo Triano, All at Sea fighting back, but Rodrigo Triano holds it from All at Sea second, and then in third, photo third, Seattle Rhyme and Dr. Devious, followed by Massad, Zerman, Al Nasser Al Washik, Ruby Tiger, who was a bit disappointing, followed then by Gussie Marlowe and Terriman and Bob Zao, and tailed off and virtually pulled up through the last furlong is the favourite Kuyonga. And so there is Kuyonga, who hardly got home at all and just trotted up in the last half a furlong or so. And so the result then, I'm sure there'll be a steward's inquiry to this race. Don't think certainly won't, in my judgment, concern the winner, but they might call a steward's inquiry determining the poor running of Kuyonga. That's all in the melting pot. Let's go for the result. It's a win for number 10, Rodrigo de Triano, in the colours of Robert Sangster. This one trained by Peter Chappell-Hyam and ridden by Lester Piggott, for whom he is the 24th winner of the season. And Rodrigo de Triano, American-bred son of El Gran Senor, bred at the Swettenham Stud, and well done to them. Second horse home, well, that's number 12, All at Sea. Second again under Panetteri in the colours of Carlo Abdullah, trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil. A close call for second place, for third place between Seattle Rhyme and Dr. Devious.
The highs, the lows, no one knows them better in the game of racing than Lester Piggott, and here's one of his highs. A fine performance to husband this horse home, and if you go back tonight, for those of you with a video, watch the first furlong of this race. The job was won and lost there because he gave Leicester a horrible time early on. He pulled hard. Eventually, John Frankham said to me, he's got him. And going into the closing stages, having got him settled, he could use his change of pace to good effect. Up front now, and All at Sea, Panetteri, pink cap comes to join Steve Corfin, yellow colours. Steve looks cooked against the rails. It's All at Sea, but as she hits the front, she's immediately almost in trouble and off the bridle. She's pressed by Rodrigo. She doesn't give in, but he's got something she hasn't. Sharper turn of foot. Yeah,
she's really given her all, and we saw a game of really performance to finish second in the Oaks, but Leicester's timing is absolutely immaculate. Put this horse's head in front, and he's barely known that he's had a race, just as he did in the Irish Guineas. Really wonderful riding performance to watch, and I think probably one of the most pleased of the trainers will be David Elder.
Orders, and they're running, and the grey Environment Friend just rather missed the break, was slow out of the stalls, and so too Rodrigo Triano, steadied right at the back of the field, and the first one to go on is Shuelan. Shuelan, after half a furlong, leads from Pollen Count now with the white cap. Right up with the pace 2 is the outsider Corrupt, and then Zahi now with a red cap, and after these midfield Massad, followed by Seattle Rhine, Lahid making ground, and the final 3 are Steinbeck for France, then Environment Friend, the only English bred, and still at the back of the field is the favourite Rodrigo Triano. They're coming towards the end of the first quarter of a mile. They're in 2 groups now, and over on the far side it's Zahi now who's gone on, Zahi from Lahib, and then Steinbeck, and over on the far side that's Rodrigo Triano as well. On the near side, Shuelan is in front. Shuelan from Pollen Count, Corrupt, Massad, and then Seattle Ryman still at the back is the grey Environment Friend. They're coming down towards the end of the 4th furlong, and still out in front is Zahi on the far side. Spot that big white noseband. Zahi in front from Steinbeck for France, and then Lahib, the second favourite, Rodrigo to Triano, and on the near side, Shuilan. They're just past halfway now in the Dubai's Champion Stakes, with Zahi still leading the far side, Shuilan on the near side. It's over to you, Graham Good.
Inside the last half mile, and Zahi the red cap and Steinbeck being ridden along, Shuheilan the yellow colours coming there with a run, Rodrigo and Leicester getting closer on the fence. They've passed the 3 and it's still Zahi who has it from Lahib. Yellow colours is Shuheilan, then comes Massad with a big white face, and still Leicester on Rodrigo hunting up the leaders as they pass the 2, and it's Zahi and Lahib and Shuheilan and Rodrigo to Triano and Massad on the outside, then Steinbeck, Environment Friend the grey down the centre of the track, but Rodrigo is poised to go a furlong inside the final furlong, and it's Lahib and Rodrigo to Triano. That confidence in the ring matched by Leicester's confidence in the race. Lahib tries to fight back, but Rodrigo to Triano takes it by a neck to a half. Rodrigo to Triano beats Lahib. It's a very close call for third between Environment Friend and Shuheilan, and behind these came Steinbeck and Massad, and the field trail back to Pollenkant, who was last of all. Well, Lester Piggott has won this race on some good horses, Sir Ivor and Giacometti. He's ridden some confident races, but I doubt, as he has a chat there with Willie Carson, as if he's ever ridden a more confident race in his life on Rodrigo de Triano. The winner of this Group 1 Dubai Champion Stakes. The horse has won 5 Group 1 races now, and a superb action inside the final furlong, with Leicester at his brilliant best.
So the great thing about you is that you can actually look back, right, it's 38 years since Never Say Die, isn't it? And some great 2,000 guineas horses. How efficient the 2,000 guineas winner is? Obviously he doesn't look like a Nijinsky, but he's a very efficient racehorse, isn't he, this?
Yeah, he's the ideal horse for this race, really. He's got the speed and everything, and he probably just come now at the right time.
How far would he get, do you think, this time?
Not much further, no.
I think I have to ask you, how much further will Lester Piggott get?
How much further will I get?
What do you get, Lester?
I'll get to the 5th race, anyway.
And the 57th year, 58th year?
Why not?
Are you doing this?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I'm trying to think of not. Well, anyway, Lester, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've never heard a crowd more enthusiastic at York in the sort of 25 years I've been coming here. And I'm obviously delighted for myself. I'm delighted for Leicester on the horse.
And these obviously were the tactics that come from behind. But
Yeah,
you've seen Leicester for a long time, come from the way back. But it was a big task.
Well, I pulled up outside the weighing room when I arrived at 1:15, and Leicester got out of a taxi, and so the old adage, you back the first trainer or the first jockey, and he came over to me. He's never ever done that before. Yeah. Well, he's always done. And he said, we've got a terrible draw. Well, I must admit, a mile and a quarter, I haven't actually looked at the draw. And so he said, what do you want me to do? Well, yeah, I said, drop back.
And here he is, Lester. Many congratulations. Robert was saying he saw you get out of the taxi today, and you were very worried about the draw.
That's right. Well, it couldn't have been worse draw, and especially in that race, because you're nearly on top of the turn, and you're pretty wide out there, you know.
And looking at the race early on, it seemed that it was quite difficult to settle him, wasn't it, just early on?
Well, not really, but, the one horse came up on my inside, and I had to let him go, and, they were just stopping and starting a bit. So, wasn't as simple as all that.
It's not quite as simple as that. You make it look simple. But you got him settled at the back, but you had a lot of horses in front of you. How cool were you with the engine beneath you?
Well, I was always happy all the way, I was surprised when the fillies, when we got in the state, about a furlong in the States, we finished. And I just switched over to the left a bit, and I just cruised up behind the rest of them,
And all those thoughts we had about the distance and the Guineas being almost the maximum of his trip. I mean, this trip he seemed to see out really well.
Well, it's an easy track, I just glided there,
Well, you've glided there for a long time now. But, Lester, what do you think his best trip is? Do you think a mile is his best trip, or do you think that's, obviously you can take them all a mile a quarter?
Well, I think he's adaptable. I think he's a very good horse.
Very good horse. Yeah. And this change of pace he seems to do, you seem to be able to change it when you quicken up very, very easily.
Yeah, well, he's got some brains, he knows what to do. And, he just comes when it's the right time.
Well, you'll be making plans in taxi to others with Robert, but the Breeders' Cup has obviously been a long-term talk about that. You believe in the Breeders' Cup?
Yeah, certainly rough, but I mean it's a mile or a mile and a half. There's a mile and a quarter on the dirt, isn't there? No, I wouldn't fancy the mile and a quarter on the dirt, to be honest, but it's up to Lester to decide. He's the boss.
You're the boss, then. How about that, Lester? But a mile?
Well, we'll see when we come to it.
Well, it's great to look forward to, and thank you very much. Even by your standards, the reception when you came in here was so strong. What does that feel like?
It's the biggest I've ever seen at York.
Well, this is York, you know, it's terrific to be here.